Our Verify team sorting fact from fiction when it comes to all those viral videos.
Yes, take this one from Nature is Scary on Twitter from Monday, claiming to show a 50-foot anaconda swimming across a Brazilian river.
Jungles are like the ultimate mystery box, packed with the creepiest, spookiest, and most baffling stuff you can imagine. And guess what? We've barely scratched the surface of what's out there. Tucked away under all that lush greenery, we found some of the wildest jungle discoveries ever. Abandoned plain. Jungles and dense forests are perfect for keeping things out of sight. Except, maybe, for a 737 plane that's been mysteriously abandoned smack in the middle of a Bali forest. The crazy part? No one's quite sure how it ended up there. A popular guess is that a rich businessman shipped the parts over and put it together right there, aiming to launch a one-of-a-kind restaurant. But plans went awry, and the plane just sat there, forgotten, until it was found again and turned into a tourist attraction. And get this, the latest buzz is that someone's actually living in that plane now. Zombie fungus. Believe it or not, there's a fungus out there that turns insects into zombies. Yep, you heard that right. This fungus hijacks an insect's body, turning it into a walking spore factory. And when it's done marinating inside, it bursts out, usually somewhere near the insect's buddies, to snag as many new hosts as it can. It's like this fungus's own creepy strategy for taking over the jungle or forest. Now just picture what could go down if a mad scientist got their hands on it and tweaked its DNA to work on humans too. Cultivated caterpillar. Jungle life is wild, especially if you're an insect. Take ants for example. Usually they're chill, minding their own business, maybe defending their colony if they have to. But jungle ants? They're on another level. Instead of going after canopy caterpillars to take them out, they turn them into their own little sugar factories. These caterpillars produce a sweet liquid that the ants collect, kind of like how humans milk cows. And here's the kicker. In exchange for the sweet deal, the ants offer VIP protection. Each caterpillar gets its own bodyguard ant that sticks by its side, ready to defend it. Talk about a bizarre twist in the animal kingdom. Man finds a frightening shock upon waking. When you head out camping in the woods, what's your top fear? Maybe it's the thought of a bear hanging out by your tent, eyeing you as its morning snack. Well, there was this guy who went camping and woke up to find a massive bear just lounging outside his tent. Was the bear thinking of him as its next meal? Or maybe it was just feeling lonely and looking for a buddy? Only the bear knows the truth. But the good news? The camper managed to escape the very precarious situation unscathed. Phew. Devil's Tramping Ground. Right by Bear Creek in North Carolina, there's a campsite with a spot called Devil's Tramping Ground. This place is wrapped in local lore and mystery because nothing grows on its circular patch. Legend has it that the devil himself wanders around here, and if you hang around this barren spot at night, you might hear strange sounds, like someone pacing in circles. Leave anything in the circle overnight, and it'll vanish by morning. Plus, dogs seriously dislike this spot. They'll whine and howl if you try to make them stay close. When the pups are giving it a hard pass, it's probably a good idea for you to steer clear too. Jeanette hitching a ride on animal. Back in 2014, at a reserve in South Africa, someone snapped a pic of this little critter that looks a lot like a cat. This tiny adventurer was spotted hitching rides on some pretty hefty animals, including buffaloes and even a black rhino. There's even footage of it bugging a rhino but refusing to hop off its back. This feline-esque wanderer is called a genet, a rare find that's got that cat vibe but isn't actually a cat. Genets are part of the civet and mongoose family, though they've got a dash of cat-like flair in them. Luminous fungi. Forests and jungles aren't just about the spooks and shivers. Sometimes they're straight out of a fairy tale. To stumble upon this enchanted realm, you've got to keep an eye out for these tiny magical mushrooms that light up the night. These glowing wonders create a mesmerizing scene straight from a fantasy, thanks to a chemical reaction that lets them shine. It turns out, a lot of mushrooms in the fungal kingdom have this cool trick up their sleeve, known as bioluminescence. Some can even dry up and come back to life with a bit of water, adapting to the weather. The most common glow-in-the-dark mushrooms are from the Mycena genus. Crooked Forest. Tucked away in the village of Nowe Czarnowo, near Gryfino in West Pomerania, Poland, lies a mysterious forest that's home to some pretty bizarre-looking trees. Planted back in the 1930s, this grove of 400 trees features trunks that curve like the handles of a cup near the bottom. The true reason for their unique shape remains a mystery, but there are plenty of theories floating around. Some folks think the Soviets might have genetically altered these pine trees to produce thicker, stronger wood. Others believe there's a spot in the woods where gravity's pull is so strong it bends the trees into these unusual shapes. Whatever the reason, it's become a must-see destination for curious travelers from all over the globe. Jawbone on forest floor. This video took off on TikTok, showing a guy on a peaceful hike who stumbled upon a jawbone lying on the ground. Far from freaking out, he was actually intrigued by the find, especially since it still had teeth in it, and he jokingly called it a dinosaur bone. Obviously, it wasn't a dino relic, but more likely came from a cow or a similar animal. Fossilized dinosaurs. Dinosaur fossils pop up in the most surprising spots, like this guy in Portugal, who was just fixing up his house when he unearthed Europe's biggest dinosaur fossil ever. It was from a sauropoda, the biggest dino species we know of. But hold on, because there's an even wilder find, a perfectly preserved T-Rex fossil smack in the middle of a jungle. The internet's buzzing, with some calling it a fake, and others swearing it's legit. What do you think? Real deal, or just another tall tale? Cicadas take over. Creepy crawlies freak me out more than anything. Back in 2017, the biggest bug invasion hit the eastern US forests. We're talking about periodical cicadas. These critters spend their whole lives underground, only popping up every 13 to 17 years. When they do emerge, it's in the billions, all coming out to soak up some sun in their final days. They serenade the world with their love songs, find their mates, and after a few weeks of romance and ensuring there's a next generation, they pass away. The newborns then drop from the trees, dig into the earth, and start their long wait underground, gearing up for their turn to emerge mate and complete the cycle. Revenge of ants. I'm pretty convinced that ants are on track to rule over humans one day. So let's get ready for that twist. Rule number 1, don't mess with ants. If you do, you'll end up like this praying mantis that thought it could easily take on a bunch of tiny ants. Spoiler alert, it ended badly for the mantis, which is now destined to wander headless for all eternity. As I've mentioned before, jungle ants are a whole different breed of fierce. Abandoned puppy. A couple was enjoying a camping trip in the woods, and just as they were packing up to leave the next morning, they heard faint whimpering near the lake. Curious, they went to check it out and found what looked like a mop stuck in the water. But surprise, that mop was actually a Komondor puppy. Without hesitation, they rescued the little guy, dried off his fur, and fed him some treats. When it was time to go, the puppy started to follow them to their car, melting their hearts. It was clear what they had to do next. They took the puppy home, visited the vet, and made him part of their family. Turns out, not everything that comes out of the forest has to be eerie or creepy. Frog treasure. Ever witnessed someone going fishing without a drop of water in sight? Well, this dude's about to school you on dryland frog fishing. He's so skilled at using his hands to dig through the earth. He's earned himself the nickname Human Shovel in my book. He burrows into the dry ground and snags frogs that are tucked away underneath, hibernating during the dry spell, waiting for rain to make their grand entrance. These frogs aren't just playing hide and seek, they're his dinner plans. The glass frog. Deep in the dense forests, while other frog species leave their eggs to fend for themselves, there's one committed dad standing out from the rest. Meet the reticulated glass frog, named for its see-through skin that lets you peek at all its internal organs as if you're looking through a window. This devoted father guards his brood of eggs around the clock, ensuring they're safe until they hatch, even though the mother frog has hit the road to do her own thing. He's on constant watch, fending off predators like rainforest wasps with his impressive ninja-like skills. Watch him go. Those wasps don't stand a chance. Meat-eating plant. People turn to a plant-based diet to spare animals, but imagine if the tables were turned and plants started munching on animals. And no, I'm not talking about those tiny Venus flytraps, but rather the monstrous pitcher plants. These botanical beasts are pros at trapping small rodents, unlucky enough to tumble in, sealing their doom on the spot. Once a rat or mouse slips into the pitcher plant, escape becomes impossible as it fills with digestive juices, effectively drowning and then digesting the poor critter. Thankfully, these predatory plants are on the smaller side. Just think if they were large enough to engulf a person, let's not go there. Leaf insect. At first glance, you might mistake this creature for a regular cricket, but listen closely to the sound it produces. Changed your mind yet? This isn't just any cricket, it's a katydid. Their calls are distinct, leaning more towards a clicking noise compared to the sounds made by grasshoppers and other crickets. Katydids are camouflage experts, seamlessly blending into their surroundings with ease. You can find them in every corner of the globe, except for Antarctica. Leaf-like insects. Is it a leaf? An insect? Surprise, it's both. Meet the giant Malaysian leaf insect, a master of disguise from the dense jungles of Malaysia. These clever critters have perfected their camouflage game to dodge predators looking for a snack. By sitting super still on a stem, they mimic the very leaves they munch on. They even nail the look of decaying leaf edges. It's a spot-on impersonation of their leafy diet. Armadillo. While journeying near the Brazilian Amazon, a family encountered a curious sight. What appeared to be a patch of dry earth moving on its own. Intrigued, they stopped and discovered a small armadillo bustling about. Upon noticing the nearby humans, the adorable creature instinctively curled up into a ball. Armadillos are equipped with thick scales that shield them from predators. Just look at how adorable this little one is. Melanistic serval. Is that a black panther, or could it be a regular house cat? Nope, it's actually a serval, a type of cat that typically sports a golden brown spotted coat. But why the black color? It's all thanks to melanism, a rare condition caused by a recessive gene that leads to an overproduction of melanin, the dark pigment in skin, feathers, and hair, which is the exact opposite of albinism. If you're really lucky, you might spot this stunning wildcat on a safari in East Africa. Check out how the melanistic serval is mingling with a non-melanistic one. Dinosaur tail. For ages, we've been tossing around the idea that a huge asteroid called Chicxulub smashed into Earth and wiped out the dinos. But actual proof? Not so much, until maybe now. So here's the scoop. Scientists reckon they've stumbled upon a dino leg belonging to a little plant eater called Thescelosaurus, buried in the aftermath of that very asteroid crash in Tanis, a dig site over in North Dakota. This dino leg is in incredible shape, pretty much caught in time on the day everything went kaput. How wild is that? Looks like this find is a game changer for the books at Tanis. Bat migration. This scene could totally be from a horror flick. So get this, every year when October's wrapping up, through those dense Congo forest treetops, hundreds of thousands of bats make their big move. We're talking fruit bats with wings stretching a whole meter across, and they can cover some serious miles. How they figure out the when and where of their trip is anyone's guess, but they all head to this swamp in Kasanka National Park, Zambia. And when they land, it's like a bat bonanza with millions of them all in one place. Mysterious jungle whale. So get this. A humpback whale, a whopping 11 meters long, turned up in the middle of the jungle in Para, Brazil, way up north in the Amazon. The wild part? This whale was chilling 15 meters away from the ocean. Experts are scratching their heads trying to figure out how this massive sea creature ended up so far inland. One idea floating around is that a huge wave swept it all the way there because, let's be real, no human could haul this behemoth without leaving a trail in the sand. What do you think happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Titanoboa. When you think of the jungle, one of the scariest things is bumping into a massive snake, right? And the Amazon rainforest is notorious for its gigantic critters. So, imagine the shock when a helicopter flying over the Amazon right by a little river caught footage of this enormous snake that seemed straight out of a nightmare. Then, there's another clip of a snake just as big, snagged by some fishermen heading out for the day. Once these videos hit the internet, they blew up, and now folks everywhere are buzzing with theories. The wildest one, that these snakes aren't fully grown yet, suggesting that the mythical Titan boa, a prehistoric monster snake, could actually be lurking in the Amazon, and these giants are just its kiddos. Stone spheres. At first look, you might guess those giant balls just popped up naturally. But nope, totally off the mark. These huge, perfectly rounded stone spheres weren't crafted by nature, but by ancient human hands. They're called the Diquis spheres, and you can find them chilling in Costa Rica. Back between AD 800–1500, during the Chiriqui period, some seriously skilled artists took to shaping boulders into rough spheres with harder rocks, then smoothed them all out with sand for that polished look. These stone marvels were placed in important spots like graveyards or temples. It's both eerie and incredible to think about how those folks managed to create such massive works without any modern tech. Lost City of Giants. Back in 2013, smack in the middle of Ecuador's jungles, they stumbled upon this gigantic structure towering at 260 feet. Built with blocks tipping the scales at up to 2.5 tons each. This find is nothing short of jaw-dropping. The folks digging into this are calling it the Lost City of Giants. And for good reason. The idea is that these massive blocks were either hoisted by humans with some superhuman strength, or, you guessed it, actual giants. And it's not just the blocks. They found enormous tools, and even a giant footprint embedded in cement. Like some giant was literally leaving their mark while on the job. This part of the rainforest is about as pristine and untouched as it gets, making you wonder what other secrets are tucked away under all that green. Let's chat about the thumbnail of this video. This image has been buzzing on the web, and yeah, it's got that artificial vibe to it, doesn't it? Looks like something cooked up by AI. So here's the story. A traveler was exploring the Amazon in Brazil and claims to have seen these odd creatures. Didn't manage to snap a real photo, so they whipped up this image with some AI magic to show us their encounter. This is the result, the supposed appearance of these mysterious beings. What's your take? Should we take the tourist's word for it? Whether fact or fiction, what they captured in the Amazon rainforest shocks scientists and is stirring up conversations. Drop your thoughts below, buddy. Alien or humanoid? Ever been frozen in fear? The kind where you want to bolt but your legs just won't cooperate? That's exactly what went down with this guy who was trekking through a dense, jungle-like forest. Just doing his thing, wandering around, when out of nowhere, his camera captures this black, humanoid, almost alien-esque figure eyeing him from behind the bushes, like a famished farmer eyeing a turkey dinner. He clocks this eerie figure, but instead of making a break for it, he sticks around. Whether his legs turn to jelly or he's got nerves of steel is anyone's guess. Thanks a ton for checking out this video. If you liked it, smash that like button and share it with your pals. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you won't miss any of our awesome future videos. Big thanks once again.